verse 4. Now the Passover, the feast of the Jews, was at hand. Okay, so the feast is at hand. Okay, so what we see here is, it's not saying, okay, so it's at hand. It doesn't mean it's like this weekend, okay, because if it was, then Jesus would have been there in Jerusalem. Okay, so all that they're saying by saying that the feast, the Passover is at hand or was at hand, is to point towards to the near time of the year. So this would have been kind of like in March, sometime, well, our March that is, right? Depending on, I mean, ultimately when the Passover would have been then in that time of the year, right? In that specific year, because we know as well, depending on the moon, etc., it changes. Sometimes it can be the end of March, other times it can be even the middle of April. So we don't exactly, I mean, it's impossible to tell exactly when it was then, but anyhow, so it's sort of March, April is kind of that he is doing this, right? And so yeah, this is now the time when they went up or to just give this an idea. So as well, again, that people not only can see, like he's done a number of times before, he specifies very clearly exactly where this happened. And that for me is as well another point why it was written early. Because if this happened later on, right, then to be this, but this was near that time, this was at this specific place, this was at that specific place, it's like it's not that important to people anymore. The people living there, the people hearing that, they're all dead now. It's not like to say it's in that kind of an area is one thing, but to say specifically on that dot kind of idea, right? That makes a lot more sense for the people who actually live close to the time of this happening. Okay. Verse 5. Lifting up his eyes, right? It's a bit like lifting up your eyes to that Merdeka Tower, which the lights are off now, and he saw that there's a large, verse 5, lifting up his eyes then, and seeing that a large crowd was coming toward him, Jesus said to Philip, where are we to buy bread so these people may eat? Okay, so he lifts up his eyes, right? We've seen that as well in chapter 4 with the Samaritan woman. Jesus said, lift up your eyes, the harvest is ripe kind of idea. Here as well, lifting up your eyes. And that is as well, we've seen it lifting up Abram when he went to Mount Moriah, he lifted up his eyes. And the same thing with Jacob. There's so many times like Isaac lifting up his eyes, sawing Rebecca. Okay, you know, we've always seen there in Genesis, you can go back to study, to listen to the videos I did on Genesis, that the lifting up the eyes ultimately implies that something important is happening here. Okay, and this is as well something important that is happening here, because it's going to be this teaching moment by Jesus. Okay, he saw this loud crowd coming towards him, and he asked Philip. Right now, Philip was from Bethany. We see that later on. Philip was most likely not Jewish, right? The name, etc. It does not say, but most likely, especially since later on the Greeks are going to actually come to Philip to get an audience with Jesus, right? So Jesus asked of Philip, who was kind of, well, they all were from that part of the world, where are we to buy bread so that the people may eat? Okay, so large crowd of people. They've been Jesus has been teaching them a while. They're up in the mountain, right? There are not shops around like here. Everywhere shops around, right? There's so many shops in this area. Okay, so they're not like there to go and quickly buy. And even if they could, right, the point of them, and Jesus like asking, so where can we buy bread for all these people? How? Right? There's nowhere. And even if there was somewhere, it's like, you know, try and go and buy bread for everyone in the city here in the shop. It's impossible. Okay, it's like on the way here, right, we went to a night market. It's just down the road. It's like 500 meters down the road here. The famous Jalor, I think Jalor Sitar or something, night market. It's a little bit of a tourist trap. Things are super expensive, I would think, right? In general, Malaysia is cheaper than Thailand, but that night market was quite expensive. But anyhow, it's such the important point. On the way there and back, actually, we had to cross over a bridge, right? A walkway to cross the road here, and I've seen before as well, and seen today as well. There were people, 2 people in this case, but in the past I've seen a few more actually. Homeless people, sleeping there on this bridge. Now you have this tall building here, second tallest in the world. You have all these shopping centers, and you have those people 500 meters from here sleeping on cardboards at night because they can't afford housing, right? I know a little bit down the road there is a place where they feed people actually, but not for sleeping. Now, as I was walking past him, I was thinking, you know, if I had like a hotel here, right, I would every evening go out and invite them all to come and sleep at least. Of course, sleeping, I mean, it just gives you strength the next day, and then you can work and you can do other things. You just kind of a different attitude towards life. But I know they kind of may be used to it, right? But still, I mean, this is not, we're not Jacob's supposed to sleep on the ground outside. Yeah, and at the same time, I understood that if I do that for, you know, I don't have the money for that. I never will have the money for that. But even if I had, I could do it one night, and then they will tell other people, and the next night there would be too many people to take in, kind of, right? So I would not be, one night I might be able to give, the second night already most likely, maybe a few nights I would be able, but then it will be full, and you will have lots of people around you. Now I'm not saying therefore don't because of that, right? You need to do something. As Christians we need to do these things. It's important, like Jesus going to feed the people here. But just what I'm getting at is, right, from that example and this example is like, you, even if you had all the money, if I had all the money and could, except maybe if I could buy that Merdeka tower over there and put everyone, there might be then enough place for the homeless in the city, maybe. I don't know how many actually there are. But it would never be enough. There will always be more. Okay, like Jesus here asking Philip, so where can we buy bread for all of them? And Philip is going to answer like, you know, there's not a where. But more importantly, there's not a possibility. There are too many people. We don't have enough money.